Another year, another costume made out of trash. Sometimes necessity breeds the most creativity. Been suggested all of these videos, last minute Halloween costume. First of all, what are you trying to say, YouTube? But also, yes, if this video is out on time, it's truly a Halloween miracle because I just don't have my priorities straight. I don't completely know what to call this. Magic snake charmer, less Medusa, more the darkness too. So if you're not a snake person, honestly it doesn't look that real, so you don't have a lot to worry about. I did already have a doll costume. Based all of the colors off of that, I always like to make a prop, starting with the snake. So before paper macheing, I needed to make essentially an armature in the shape that I wanted it to be in. I did start off with the jaw. It's made out of a wire from a Chinese takeout box, formed the shape of an open snake jaw. Probably could have done this a lot better, but you know what? We were on a time crunch. That's just gonna be my excuse when anything goes wrong in this project. Cover that in foil. So the inside of the mouth is obviously gonna be a little bit more concave. Then I need to start building the rest of the snake onto that. It looks like a claw. I taped the first part on, rolled up pieces of foil to make a long cylindrical snake shape, and attached those onto the jaw that I had already made. Sized it around my neck. After I had formed the shape, I needed to then give it structure, paper mache. I did have to do multiple rounds of paper macheing on this. This is so weird. I feel like I'm creating a monster. I suppose that's what we're going for, but I don't know if it's in the way that we're going for. It was pretty hard to get it to stay in the shape that I wanted it to. Paper mache a couple of areas and make that harden, and then I would go back after that had dried, work on other sections. I can basically just layer it all on, and then I can still reform while it's still wet. Just leave it in that position to dry. I don't think this is the worst method if you only have aluminum foil. I could be eating my words later. We need to paint it and cover it. Painted the whole thing black, like an undercoat, and then I needed to start layering on scales. What are we gonna use for scales? A giant black trash bag. Cut out strips of the trash bag. These are kind of reminding me of VHS tapes or cassettes. Cut all of them into roughly square shapes. The most time-consuming part of this is layering on each of the scales. Some really old paper and fabric glue that's basically like a paste now. It's very sticky, so it worked well for this. Painted that on essentially, and then stuck each of the scales on in a rough diamond pattern. And it took so long. It didn't necessarily look the way that I wanted it to, but does it ever? I was doing this just all day into the night. We're here with my best friend and also my worst enemy. Of course, we have to add fangs. Snake fangs are actually quite small. This is like a fantasy creature. I'm just gonna exaggerate them a little bit. Painted a gradient towards the top just so that I could blend it into the mouth more. I made the snake eyes out of paperboard, painted it, added hot glue on top of that. Anyone getting like incredibly deadly viper? Attached the fangs into the mouth. Did decide to do some nonsense with some liquid latex. I mean, it didn't go well. Small pieces of toilet paper and just liquid latexed it in there like you would a prosthetic. I also used the liquid latex to blend the fangs just inside a little bit. I tried to make kind of a gum shape, but I tried. That's all that matters when you're crafting. Ooh, glue this eye on real quick. Painting the scales a little bit. I added some silver first. I don't know about this. And then I added some red, adding patterns, painting the belly red. I don't know. I was just trying to save it at this point. Quick blood warning. The blood does not look real at all and it's very minimal, but I did add some blood on the fangs, splattered a little bit around the mouth, but you can't even see it that much. And then believe it or not, the snake was done. Time to make an environment for this character and its snake friend. We're making a snake den. I did research a lot of snake dens and I gotta be honest, they don't look like this. The process for this miniature was definitely a lot more organic in every sense of the word. I did have a plan, but I never actually finished it. So the whole idea was that I wanted to make the cave look like the snake's eye. I don't know if I achieved that. Still starting with a cardboard base, vaguely formed some cardboard into a cave shape, then started adding paperboard in to add like rock shapes and extrusions. Need to build up some forms. I was like, you know what looks like rocks? Foil. And like kinda, but also not really. Took some foil and like scrunched it up, glued them on haphazardly in random places. Wow, what beauty. I can just feel everybody unsubscribing. Fixed everything with paper mache. So went and paper mache'd over the entire thing. After the paper mache was dry, I then painted it. Wow, look at that. beautiful swamp brown. Brown, swamp, green, blackish. That was just my base color so that I could paint some highlights and shadows over it. I know what you're thinking. How do you achieve this beautiful painting technique? Absolute years of studying, practicing. I did paint some darker shadows in the areas that further set back. Painted some highlights too with kind of tannish color to make the surfaces look more like rock. Not a lot of method to this madness. The paper mache actually gave the cave a really nice texture. The one place that you can get free materials is, in fact, the great outdoors. So I ventured out to collect some materials, rocks, some sticks, sort of dead looking plants, and of course dirt, building up some of the ground texture. Did a layer of glue on the ground and then I sprinkled the sifted dirt over it. Added some of the dead leaves. I just cut them up into really small pieces, went over with some rocks, and just put it where it felt right. That was the process for most of this. Does it feel right? The shapes of the rocks really inform where I decided to put all of them. It's almost like a puzzle. They'll fit into places better than others. They were a little bit mismatched. Used some paint to make the colors more cohesive. Twigs and roots and stuff to try and make it look a little bit more natural. I did want to have a lot of stuff coming down from the top. Use these sticks to make it look like a lot of roots were coming through. Glued some of the leaves hanging down. I found this weird plant that kind of reminded me of a snake, so I went ahead and added those on too. It's probably gonna die at some point. And of course I added my dollar store moss to add more of a story and give the cave some character. A bunch of little cave painting kind of things all around the cave. The snake charmer paints runes around the cave and they have some sort of snake magic that brings the snakes to life or something. One of the most important parts is we have to make some snakes and also some snake eggs. So as with the fangs, we're using Sculpey. I think I made like 13 of them. That's a good spooky number. I also made some snake eggs. These are very simple. Make a couple that were hatching because why not? I painted them with that color scheme, the red, black, and silver. Details. I glued all of those in. A couple of little spider webs just to make it a little bit spookier. Always do that with hot glue. Dab it on a couple surfaces and the strings will go across. We needed to do some creepy snake makeup. I'm not good at makeup. I'm just gonna be real with you. Well, I'm not really gonna explain what I did because I don't really know. I'm using a wig cap as a stencil. Maybe some kind of snake eye looking thing on my eyelids. Of course, using our color scheme again. Welcome to my snake time. Yes, snakes. I don't know how I feel about the final result. I like how the miniature turned out a lot. I don't know about this guy. I like the shape of it. It definitely doesn't look like a real snake. Granted, that isn't totally what I was going for. One more time, it would have been a little bit better. That particular challenge was in fact self-inflicted.
Your future is full of struggle and anguish, most of it self-inflicted.
Hopefully it came together. Either way, I hope you enjoyed. I hope this video was even up, to be honest. You have a good Halloween. Spooks and frights and everything nice. I do just want to show you my window. Nightmare Before Christmas, Tim Burton inspired. Halloween is just the crafting holiday. Even if you only have trash, you can craft. Happy Halloween.